Hello and welcome to the Kongversation. I'm Hyle Russell, and oh my god, there's so many people in the room with me. Who's first?
Jeff! I'm Jeff, hi.
And then Dustin's the next one. We're sitting here in a moist pool.
Yeah, we've got a human centipede situation going on. The chain of people just practically never ends. Well, it ends with Dustin, but
it
sucks being at the end.
That analogy is nonsensical. If we're talking, then how could we be sewed to each other's anuses? It doesn't make sense, Hyle. Maybe think it through next time.
I think the noise.
I thought it was beautiful.
The noise would come out of my mouth, though, like from Dustin through Jeff through my mouth.
It's like we're using horns. We like blow through the horn and it comes out Hyle.
Yeah. Hyle's gonna explain all this real quick, but we're gonna say it right out the gate. We're all doing our very best not to talk over each other, and so far we've aced it.
Pretty good.
So, why are there three of us here? This isn't going to be a good podcast if there's three of us here. Well, there's a method to this madness. There's a reason. There's three of us. There could have been four. And I said, no, that's too much. Because occasionally, when we all play Sea of Thieves on our Sunday Stream of Thieves streams on our Twitch channel at twitch.tv/DKVine, we'll all be, sailing around. And to pass the time, we'll just get talking. The collective group, we just start chatting. And, the Stream of Thieves cruise, a lot of the times it'll include all Kongversation hosts. And we then get on a collective, wavelength. We get on the manic, inane tear about something, and we just really stop focusing on the game, and we just prattle on and on. And a lot of the times, what we talk about, game ideas. So what happened was it was April. I think it was April of this year. We were all sitting around. It was you, Jeff. It was you, Dustin. Cameron was there, and I was there as well. And we started talking, and a lot of these streams, these Sea of Thieves streams, they're basically dress rehearsals for more viewed DK Vine material down the road. We're basically workshopping material like a stand-up comic does. Because barely anybody watches them, except like the most hardcore and forgiving of our audience. And so it really allows us to fine-tune some things. And, we can we'll come back to that later. Now that we've got a good routine down. So what happened was, it was an April stream. It was the three of us and Cameron, and we just started talking. We hit upon a game idea that we all loved. And honestly, we convinced ourselves that it had legitimate potential for a game. Not that it would ever be made, but we all believed in the idea. And obviously, we've done episodes of the Kongversation in the past where we've talked about broad game pitches in like a back and forth format. Well, this is my idea for a new Conquer game. Well, that's stupid. This is my idea for our new Conquer game. Or, stuff like that. But we've never done one where the entire collective, the panel of hosts, is all on the same page with the same vision for the same game. And I thought, shortly after we played Sea of Thieves that day in April, I thought, that could be a good Kongversation episode format. And we could start with the very game we discussed on that stream. And so that's what this game pitch concept is about. And that's why on this episode, we will be pitching to you, our audience, our idea for a new Donkey Kong spin-off game that takes a character from the franchise who would ordinarily be forgotten about, who would fall by the wayside, or wouldn't have room in a proper Donkey Kong game in the modern day. And we take them and we say, what could we do with that character? What could we do to put that character in the spotlight onto himself? Especially when there's little room for that kind of stuff in Nintendo's portfolio these days. Mario has a monopoly on all the wacky sports and the racing. You can't do paintball because Splatoon exists. What are you going to do? Well, you do Swanky Kong's Pizza Buffet, which we'll be discussing on this episode of The Kongversation. I can't wait. Are you excited, my co-host?
I'm excited. I have to say, well, first of all, Hyle, you talk too long. The introduction was too many paragraphs. I understand that you are used to the episodes of The Kongversation always being too short, and you're like, well, we're gonna have this one be too long. And I'm with you. Let's do it. Let's have a long one. All of them are so short, so let's make this one long. I'm with you on that. For once in your life, you get to have a long one, and that's fine. Me and Dustin are up for it. I also wanted to call out one little thing, just a little tiny little niggnaggle. You said it was the four of us that came up with the idea. I don't want to be that guy. I think it was maybe the guy who came up with the idea, only because I've been talking about it for years. And then I shared it with you all. and then we all agreed it was good. I think that happened. I think that might have been something that happened.
Here's the thing, Jeff. Hit
me.
Okay. You had like a B- of an idea. Still passing. Right. Still pretty solid. But what we did is we workshopped it. We fine-tuned it. We brought it up to an A+.
No, that's
we
great.
took unmolded clay and made it into a masterpiece.
I would say it was like mostly molded, but maybe it needed. I agree there was perhaps a tweak. And we're gonna get into all of this. What Swanky Kong's Pizza Buffet? What is that? What does that mean? What is it about? We're going to talk about it, but
I think it's pretty self-explanatory. I mean,
no, you're right.
End of the episode here.
This is actually all we had to say. So thanks everyone for watching. Please subscribe onto YouTube and Twitch and what are we
We'll be taking no calls.
Go to Patreon. No, the episode's not over. We do have to explain it. There's more to say. It's going to be, for the first time, a long podcast on the.
It's about time.
Kongversation. But before we get into that, we have to do the business side of things because you can't just get into the fun. You have to have a little business. So let's do something I personally like to call sort of the due diligence of the podcast. We have to get into that. So why don't you take it away?
You came up with that
term's been going
Jeff.
Around.
Yeah,
I did come up with it. You guys all stole it.
Well, yes, you're right. We have to do the business before we get to the pizza buffet. Daddy's got to work before we take you to Swanky Kong's Pizza Buffet. Jeff's already cracking open a beer. I can hear it.
Hyle, it's a Hyle Russell. This is a Budweiser Zero, and it is it's full flavored but zero alcohol, 50 calories, 0.0% alcohol point / volume point. And 0 grams sugar. So, I'll have you not judge me for once in my life.
Those are all good numbers, though. You got to.
Yeah. I do. I am a numbers guy.
Well, I'm glad it's non-alcoholic, considering the list up episode we did. I don't want to put you on the spot there, Jeff. I don't want to put you on the spot there.
I don't remember doing episodes.
Yeah.
Actually, Hal, I do have to say, I will address it because I'm just going to say real quick. I recently turned 31, as you know / don't believe. And I used to be in this zone where I could pretend to be like barely into my 30s, but now I'm 31 and I have to acknowledge the fact that I'm well into my 30s. And
yeah, a year.
Yeah, I'm well into my 30s. And with that comes a certain understanding of the world and responsibilities and everything. And so I'll just say this right now. I, up until this point, have only done podcasting ironically. But I'm just going to say, this time I mean it.
It's grown-up time now.
Right.
This time I mean it.
You're pitching a game to Nintendo. You have to be serious.
You have to put on your big boy pants.
I did come up with this game all by myself, alone, completely 100%. So I feel like I have to take it seriously.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad. I'm glad to see you're being professional for once, Jeff. I'm proud of you. It's like you're growing up before my eyes.
Yeah, let's do the diligence.
Let's do it. So, hey.
Let's do it, dude.
DK Vine, we're on Blue Sky. It's I don't know, it might be the fastest growing social media network. Maybe it's Threads. I don't know, but it's growing. It's got all the things now. It's got the DMs. It's got the video support. Why wouldn't you? It's nice. It's clean. It's fresh, and you can give us a follow. Just follow us on Blue Sky. Why don't you do it?
Even Grandma's getting in on the action.
Also, I don't know if you two knew this. Dustin, you better know it because I think you're... What?
You said you too, and I said, who, Bono? It's a little reference to music and pop culture. Don't worry about it.
Dude, that was great.
All right, Grandpa. That's fine. Bono. All right. Well, Dustin, you better know this because I think you're going to be on the Spotlight episode for this game with me very, very soon. But Donkey Konga, it turns 20 years old in the Americas this Friday, September 27th. And we're going to be celebrating as best we can by doing a Spotlight episode in the Kongversation. But I also have a new shirt available celebrating Donkey Konga. If you go to dkvine.com/merchandise, you can order the Pan shirt, which is, of course, is the infamous onomatopoeia used in Donkey Konga's marketing materials in Japan. That kind of became a little in-joke on DK Vine. But it's like the clapping sound when you're playing the bongos. That's Pan. In case you didn't know. But we got a t-shirt with Pan on it, so why wouldn't you wear that? What, are you some sort of asshole? Are you too good for us? Go to dkvine.com/merchandise and prove you're at our level.
I think the thing about this Pan shirt that's great is if you wear it out in public, everyone will know what it is.
It's like I really like pan pizza, or I'm pansexual.
All of that, yeah. And if you don't wear it, you probably will not be allowed to enter businesses.
Like Swanky Kong's Pizza Buffet.
Sort of like they have like a rule about not wearing shirts, is what I'm saying.
Oh,
right.
And this is a shirt. Finally, you found one.
Here it is. We've given you the key.
And before we get to Jeff's tagline, slogan, motto, catchphrase of the episode, I want to say we live stream these episodes of the Kongversation for our $5 and up patrons. You can support DK Vine by going to dkvine.com/Patreon. Hello to the live stream.
Hello.
We have Andre. We have Me Muppet giving us the pants dance emote. You love to see it. And Cameron's here. Cameron also came up with this game, by the way. And the only reason Cameron's not here is I'm saving Cameron for an upcoming episode. And I thought 4 people would be too much. And I'm not going to use Jeff for a while. So I thought I'd break out Jeff.
Yeah. Hyle only puts Cameron on the good episodes.
Dusted Jeff off, took him out. We'll put him back when we're done.
Yeah, but Cameron came up with 25% of this concept, just as much as Jeff did. I think that sounds fair. Yeah. Jeff, I'm needling you because I love you. All right, I'm needling you because I can tell you need the acupuncture.
I don't get mad. I have like a Buddhist Zen attitude about everything in the world.
Yeah,
so
that's my favorite quality of yours.
But I am right and you're wrong.
Well, Jeff, is that your slogan for the episode? I'm right and you're wrong.
No, it's not. Well, because we have a thing that we have been doing for this episode, for this season, for the whole season of the Kongversation podcast, season 12. Jeff, that's me, comes up with a slogan, catchphrase, a tagline, a motto, because the Kongversation doesn't have one and it needs one. So I'll pitch you one, and at the end of the season, one of them will become permanent or it won't. Those are the two outcomes possible. So how about this? Okay, and I'm just, all right, off the top of my head. All right, it's DK Vines, the Kongversation. DK Vines, the Kongversation. Now a subsidiary of Jeff Onan Enterprises.
That one has a nice ring to it, I think.
I think it's good. I think we might go with that.
I'm glad we made the call here.
Yeah, Dustin's on my side, and Hyle, outnumbered. We don't even have to hear what he has to say. He's already outnumbered.
Yeah, I really shouldn't have agreed to this whole, like, democracy thing.
Yeah, putting three people on is tough, because when you're outnumbered, when 2 out of the 3 co-hosts have a middle name Douglas, and you're just the meat in a mid-Doug sandwich, you know, it's tough. It's tough for you, Hyle Russell. It's
we call
not
that
easy.
an MDS.
MDS, the mid-Doug sandwich. Hyle doesn't even know what he got himself into. By the way, I did want, while we're at this point in the show with the cadence of it, I did want to address the elephant in the room. Sort of clear the air. There's a sort of, I don't know if you guys know, there's a sort of nasty rumor going around our community and the internet at large about a feud between Dustin and me? That Dustin and I are feuding? That's not, I wanted to clear the air. Okay. Dustin and I are not feuding, only because every time I'm on a episode of the Stream of Thieves and he's not on it, we're not feuding. People keep saying this, a lot of people. No, we're not feuding.
I wouldn't have agreed to do this had I known you'd be here. I mean, wouldn't be here.
No, right. No, I actually thought it was a Cameron episode of the 3 and me. But listen, Dustin and I, we do both have the middle name Doug.
Yeah, that bonds us for life. We're brothers, man.
We are brothers. We broke bread together.
Whoa.
All right, Hyle, you've just officially found out you're outnumbered. No, but hey, audience, maybe quit saying it. Quit saying this rude, nasty stuff. We don't hate each other. We're best buddies.
I could not love anyone more.
I haven't loved anyone
less.
At all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we have any staff feuds going on right now. I'm trying to think.
Not yet.
Who hates who right now?
We're working on some.
You know what? I might start a little fight. Who's am I going to fight? Adam? I could.
Jeff will take on all comers.
No, I will. Yeah.
And then I turn to the camera and I wink.
If you want to beat the king, if you want to wear the title belt, you got to beat the title belt wearer, and that is me so far, I think.
That's
maybe.
true.
So, Hyle, what is this? What is this about?
What is this mess?
Episode?
Honestly, I knew what I was getting into. I was like, oh my God, it's going to be a Doug sandwich, and I'm just...
And I said this actually on the Stream of Thieves, is that it's sort of like, and I think we all have a universal understanding of this example, but it's, in the making of the show The Boy Meets World, the writers stopped putting scenes together which had Ryder Strong's character of Sean Hunter in the same scene as Will Friedle's character of Eric Matthews.
Oh, did they not like each other?
No. They stopped putting them in scenes together on the show. And if you watch it, you'll notice they're very, very rarely in scenes together. They wrote around them because they had such strong comedic chemistry that they would derail the shoots of every time they were on set together. And this is a fact. You can watch the commentaries. I have the DVDs. But
I have them. You can listen to them.
But this is why people think there's a feud. It's because specifically Hyle, the evil producer, the producer, is trying to not put me and Dustin together, but Cameron was busy this weekend. So anyway.
Didn't really work out.
We have him outnumbered.
It's wild how much DK Vine's going through a Boy Meets World moment right now.
Right? I was so shocked when I saw it in your new video.
Yeah, thanks for the plug, Dustin. Check out the new video.
Segue.
DKU Lore Tour, Breaking the Fourth Wall with a Barrel, the video game reality of Rare. As I said in the last episode that I did with Malik, people seem to hate this one, so check it out.
Oh, really?
It's got some Boy Meets World in there.
Do people really not like it? That's so surprising to me.
Reaction has been mid. We'll just say that.
I like it.
Yeah,
well, no, okay, but Hyle, is it okay? So we have to do this. And by the way, I know we're hitting some tangents, but that's okay because this podcast usually is way too short. So
this is like the best episode for tangents.
This could be the first long one, but there's a difference between mid when something is just all through and through 50-50 medium quality, and then mid when something is like a mix of great and bad or like highly contested. And I think, your video on youtube.com, it's like some people love it, maybe some people hate it, and that's what maybe makes it mid in that way. But
gotcha.
You know what I mean? Like, and that's actually sometimes the most interesting media is the thing that is like loved and hated, not the thing that is medium boring. You know what I mean? But they both get called mid. Sure. This is mid because it's boring. And it's like, this is mid because it's really interestingly good or interestingly bad, and or I disagree or I agree.
Polarizing.
And that's a great thing. Sort of like Donkey Kong's Jungle Beat or whatever. And I think that's the case, is usually something is either 50-50 great and terrible, or it's just 50% across the board. And those are two different things. And why do we use the word mid?
Polarizing instead of like lukewarm.
Yeah, polarizing and lukewarm. Very different things.
Right, it's like lukewarm and then Luke on Hoff. Two different.
See, that's good.
Yeah,
that's hilarious.
That's
funny.
This is my impression of a tauntaun. He goes. Merp. I don't know. I haven't seen it in a while.
This is a good podcast.
I'm glad I could be teaching the controversy with my videos, but like I said before, I'm going to play it safe with my next one. I'm doing a video about Donkey Kong's birthday. Keeping it very, very simple.
No one's going to disagree.
Yeah, that one's just like factual, I think.
Here's a video about Donkey Kong's birthday, everyone. Enjoy.
I have my doubts.
And then people are going to love it.
No, they will, yeah.
Yeah. All right, what are we doing here? All right, let's talk about Swanky Kong's Pizza Buffet. My God. All right, so first things first, but before we get into exactly what our collective brilliant idea that we all contributed 25% to this, before we get into what it is, we have to clear the air, because I know there is a significant portion of our audience who might have seen the YouTube or SoundCloud key art for this episode. Just hearing the name alone conjures up a very specific game type. I announced it on social media earlier today, and one of the comments, sure enough, brought this up. And I was like, I'm ready for you. I know where this is going. Swanky Kong's Pizza Buffet is in no way similar to Five Nights at Freddy's.
There are some vague passing similarities, but overall,
in that it takes place in
games.
a pizza buffet that's an arcade,
right? And you can die in it.
I think that this is what we have to do. We have to define it. We can do this very quick. All right. Okay, maybe it won't be so quick. Okay, the whole idea for all of this, when I first presented it to you, all my friends, it was born out of the fact that I thought that it was a shame that the DK bongos on the Nintendo GameCube were never used to make a pinball game, because you have a left and a right like paddle, like that should be a pinball game, right? Donkey Kong pinball. You have Metroid pinball, Sonic pinball, Mario pinball, whatever. I thought that was the thing, and then. If going further, way back in the day, and we're not going to explain the history behind this, but way back in the day, there was a rumor on TK Vine that there was a very brief moment where we thought there was going to be a game called Donkey Kong Golf. And I always thought about this idea of Donkey Kong Golf, and I was like, well, how can Donkey Kong Golf be different than Mario Golf? Well, it could be mini golf because Mario does regular golf and there should be mini golf, and mini golf is more interesting anyway, so that's fine. Plus, I love playing bowling games on Flash on browser, like as a kid, like built into the internet websites as a child. And so all of these things coalesce, and you have pinball and mini golf and bowling, and it all comes together, and it brings to your mind the idea of a family fun center. And Hyle, what is a family fun center? Because I think it might be a uniquely American thing, but I think we can define it for our audience.
I don't know if it's uniquely American, but it's definitely, I think, if you grew up in the United States, and I don't even know if it's a current thing, because Chuck E. Cheese is no more. Am I correct in that?
Yeah, Chuck E. Cheese started in the late 70s, and it is kind of dying or dead.
I think there's still some around. I think the one we have out here is still here, but I could be wrong.
But there are still family fun centers.
Yeah.
Maybe not Chuck E. Cheese. But, well, I'll say it real quick. Is it a family fun center? Small amusement attractions, entertainment places, maybe mostly indoors. Not all of them, but they are what I'll say that they're not seen as tourist attractions. They're not a place that people travel to from out of town, but they're fairly local entertainment options that have grown out of places like theme restaurants that added attractions, or single attraction locations like a bowling alley, a pool hall, water parks, or small carnival type places with midways. And these types of places that over time wanted to diversify and expand their offerings with attractions, but rather than invent their own homegrown attractions, they would buy them or install them from third-party companies with ready-made plug-and-play type attractions. And it caused all of these types of places would eventually coalesce into these tropey, similar, the same style places with all the same sort of anchor attractions that we now call family fun centers. And they always have pizza.
Right.
They always have pizza.
I think pizza being this very universal thing that kids find appealing. You know, kids are picky eaters because their taste buds are not developed, so they don't have a very sophisticated palate. Pizza is a very blunt thing. It's bread, it's cheese, it's sauce, it's a variety of toppings. So you really can't go wrong with pizza, especially when you're a kid and you don't have that lactose intolerance built up yet. So pizza is pizza is this thing that's just an easy sell, especially to families, because you know the kids will be excited to go there to eat the food. And if you have other attractions there, well, then they're spending even more money. They're spending even more of their time. And, you know, we talked about Chuck E. Cheese, but there are lots of, like, local variants, as you alluded to, Jeff. For example, in my childhood, I did not have a Chuck E. Cheese in the town I grew up, but we had a local, I'm not going to say rip-off because it didn't have the creepy animatronics that Five Nights at Freddy's, you know, has homaged, but it was a pizza buffet, and it was a pretty expansive arcade. And the local place was Mr. Gaddy's. Shout out to Mr. Gaddy's. No longer in business, but if you grew up where I grew up, that name will bring fond memories if you were around the 90s. They had the Donkey Kong Country Pog pitching game as one of the rewards if you got so many tickets from the machines for playing games well. You could get the Donkey Kong Country Pog pitching game in 1995 as a prize. And I think that says it all. But these places, they'd be family fun centers, but they'd also be where all your friends would have their birthday party, because it's this neutral environment. You're not bringing all these kids in to your house and making a nightmare for your parents or parental figures. It's a place that you can all go to, and the kids can be rowdy, they can make a mess, they can shit on the floor, and somebody else has to clean it up, which I don't agree with. We have to treat, restaurant workers, those in the service industry, we have to treat them right. But when you're a kid, you're a little monster and you don't know any better. And the parents are all too happy to pass the responsibility for a few hours onto somebody else. So anyway, you'd have these big party rooms, right? And there would be a pizza buffet, and they would bring out like new pizza all the time. Like, oh, we just put out more of the cheeseburger pizza. Ooh, what's the cheeseburger pizza? Well, it's pizza that simulates the taste of a cheeseburger because it has all the ground beef and the cheese on it. But it's a cheeseburger pizza. And you're like, that's the craziest thing I've ever heard. It's like two things in one. Give me some. And then you eat that. And then after your little belly's full of all the bread and the cheese and the meats and the what have yous, you go out into the arcade and you play arcade games. And you know, in the 90s, the arcade industry was already on the wane when I was growing up. So this was the only place you could find arcade games by and large. I mean, there would be like successful arcades somewhere here or there, but that 80s arcade experience was already on the way out given the proficient success of console gaming. So you had to go to a pizza buffet, a family fun center to experience what our older siblings or the high schoolers next door got to experience in their youth. And happy moments from my childhood for sure.
Yeah, and can I just say, I wanted to ask Dustin to share what was your local family fun center, because Hyle had, what was it, Mr. Gucci,
Mr. Gucci.
Mr. Gucci Goo. And
Gucci.
Dustin, what did you have local that you visited as a child? That was yours?
when I was a really young child, we just had the standard Chuck E. Cheese, which was cool. But we also had a place called Discovery Zone. I don't know if either of you have heard of that. My memories of it are so foggy, but I remember there was like, it was kind of like a play place, like similar to what you would see at McDonald's, but like a deluxe version. There was like a ball pit. There were like these hanging, I don't want to call them like punching bags, but you could like walk through them. It was just a lot of shit, and it was cool.
I know what you're talking about there, Dustin. I love those things.
Yeah.
See, Cameron in our live stream chat, also me Muppet, both of them remember Discovery Zone.
Yeah, I really could not describe. It's been so long, so I could not describe it exactly, but I remember it being great. Yeah, me Muppet. I can hear the commercial. Yeah, it went like DZ at Discovery Zone or something like that. But one I also had when I was a little older, when I moved to Idaho, we had a place called Boondocks, which renamed Wahoo's, which is still there right now, and we go like every year. And it's just like a fun little, there's an arcade, there's like mini golf, there's go-karts, just a fun time to be had by all.
Right. Yeah, so for me, it's sort of a local chain because there's one all around the region, and it's called Craig's Cruisers, and they kind of highlight their advertising highlights the go-karts. They have go-karts. Some of them have outdoor and indoor go-karts. Some of them are only the indoor go-karts, but they all have the arcade, and most of them, they'll have like laser tag and some of the other stuff. Craig's Cruisers is one. The other one is AJ's Family Fun Center. That one's good. That one was mostly outdoor with bumper carts and bumper boats and go-karts, etc. But I think that what we're getting a little away from the thought that we wanted to touch on before we get into the whole thing, which is the elephant in the room. This is not Five Nights at Freddy's.
Right.
And what is the difference? What is the difference? We just described to you what is a family fun center, but what makes Swanky Kong's Pizza Buffet different from Five Nights at Freddy's? The difference is that Five Nights at Freddy's is a thriller game, a sort of thriller, scary game set in the location of a family fun center, where you're walking around it and the animatronics have come alive. Swanky Kong's Pizza Buffet is a game about the games. in the Family Fun Center. Like,
Yeah.
it is a sort of game collection game, like a Mario Sports Mix, like a other example.
Yeah.
Well, I was like a Mario Party even to an extent.
To an extent, but we can
I
talk
think
about
they've
that
actually
because
made Chuck E. Cheese games that are exactly this, too.
we don't play those.
That's true.
But we can talk about this because the notion of Mario Party versus this is very interesting because we're going to get into all of this. What do we envision what this is? But I'm picturing some modes, some game features, some game modes that are full-fledged little games in and of themselves. Like, for example, Mario Sports Mix is sort of like a Mario Sports game that has 4 sports in one, or 5 sports in one, or sort of a thing. Whereas Mario Party is a game that has like 50 or 80 or whatever games, but they're tiny. They're what is called mini games. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
So mini games. And mini games are just like, okay, for 30 seconds, mash the A button or whatever. And they can get more involved than that. I'm not saying that they're simple or nothing. They are what they are. But we're going to get into this. But I'm picturing this as more like a collection of a few more fleshed out modes than a Mario Party minigame is.
Right. This is basically taking the concept of a family fun center, a pizza buffet, if you will, and recreating it for your home, but with having all of the amenities that you would find at a pizza buffet, except you can't actually subsist on the pizza. You can't actually get a full belly because it's a video game.
Aw.
That's true. You cannot. So maybe we go. So, okay. Let's do it like this. By the way, the audience ought to know, we haven't planned any of this. Hyle specifically told us, don't write any show notes. Don't do show notes.
It's also
He
been
said,
a
"Don't do
long
this."
time since we talked about this.
It was back in April, Hyle pointed out, and I was like, really? It was April? I bet. That's true. Okay. And Hyle said to us, he said, don't write any notes because I want to sabotage you, and then I'll have an excuse not to put you on future episodes. So we don't have notes, but what about this? If we improvise, what about if we each say, we'll go around in a circle, like we'll talk, you suggest a game you think should be at the Family Fun Center, and then we all talk about that, and like, oh, how would that work, or should that be there? What is that? For example, Hyle, what is a game that should be in Swanky Kong's Pizza Buffet?
Well, here's what really sold me on the idea, Jeff, that when you pitched this to us, because I think this is what I contributed to it. So this is what sold me on it, my idea. It's, and I think this was your idea too, Jeff. I might have just said it first, but
you might have contributed.
Swanky Kong's Pizza Buffet, right? It's not just like you're selecting games from a menu. The entire restaurant is a hub world. You have full range of movement to walk around the hub world. Is it like first person? Are you just seeing through your own eyes, or do you have a little character?
That's an interesting thought.
I picture like not bird's eye view as in like 100% above your head, but like that sort of, what do they call that? Do they call that like a 3/4 view or something? Like it's a third person above the room
isometric
view. I guess isometric is the view. What do you call this? I don't know terms. I'm not intelligent. But like, yes,
it's basically
a view.
night lore.
Sure. Let's say it's night lore, where you are viewing the character moving around the space from a third person perspective. You don't need full range of camera. You don't need all that. But it's just that, and I don't think you need to be first person either. You just, you have a space you can move around to navigate to from here's object. Here's the entrance to this game. Here's the entrance to this game. Here is the arcade hall. Here's how you view the high scores. Here's where you go to the prize room. We're going to talk about all these things. These are each things to talk about. But Hyle, please proceed.
So yeah, what really like sold this to me was this idea that I have such nostalgic memories from Mr. Gaddy's, just like you might have nostalgic memories from Discovery Zone or Chuck E. Cheese or AJ's
Craig's Cruisers.
Yeah, Craig's Cruisers, right. Or if, you're 50 years from now, Dave and Buster's. I don't know. But you, think back fondly and you're like, I miss those days. Well, what this does is it provides you a little taste of that from the comfort of your own home, all under the purview of your pal Swanky Kong, who has diversified from the sideshow. He has now opened a pizza buffet family fun center. And I guess Swanky Kong could, I don't really know. Would he be walking the floor? Would he be like, are you enjoying everything today? How's your visit been? What would Swanky Kong actually do in this game?
Well, I think that he probably stands at the prize booth kind of hyping you up and be like, step right up, get this, look at this you could have. What about this thing?
Look at this crazy thing.
But then also, he could pop up in individual games that you're playing.
Maybe like a host.
Also, as like a host and be like,
okay.
Hello, everybody, we're gonna do mini golf. I don't know what he does. But,
you could have a little cutscene of him explaining the game, explaining the rules.
Yeah, he explains the rules. Yes, exactly.
But, okay, here's what I'm thinking. The real Swanky Kong does show up, but all of the, explainers are Swanky Kong animatronics, because every animatronic that is in Swanky Kong's Pizza Buffet is just another Swanky Kong.
Right, because he can't be everywhere at all times.
He can't be everywhere at all times. He's got a pizza buffet to manage, and he can, if you're having a birthday party in Swanky Kong's Pizza Buffet, because that's one of my ideas, is you can have a birthday party, for real. You can have an online birthday party. It's your birthday. I'm having a party in Swanky Kong's Pizza Buffet, and all your friends can show up, and they can
walk around.
Yeah. You can have, as an adult, or even if you're a kid, you're playing Swanky Kong's Pizza Buffet. You're like, I'm having my birthday party IRL in this virtual space that is Swanky Kong's Pizza Buffet. We're bringing the experience of the Pizza Buffet Family Fun Center to you. Anyway, so maybe Swanky Kong could be managing the birthday parties, and that's how you see the real Swanky Kong. It's if it's your birthday.
I think that helps make it feel like a bigger deal too. If it's a special occasion, you're meeting the Swanky Kong. He'll be there, but you only get one-on-one time with him on special occasions.
He's in the building all the time. Maybe he's kind of standing at the certain podium, kind of being just sort of being a hype man, but he doesn't address you. And then you go to a game and one of the Swanky bots will be the one to address you. But then only on your birthday, the actual Swanky Kong will sit down and MC your birthday.
Yeah, and, I don't know if you can have any, actual, text-to-voice things, but it'd be amazing if Swanky Kong could say, happy birthday, Dustin Jackson. Happy birthday,
oh my God,
Jeff
that's
Onan.
me!
It would feel special. It would feel
his voice would get hoarse from having to wish me birthday so often.
yeah, that's right, because you lie about it all the time. No, you know how Nintendo, if Nintendo has your email, they'll send you those birthday messages on your birthday. It's happy birthday, and it'll just be an image of Mario
Pizza
and
Hut.
Luigi, and it's just this doesn't feel very personable. This feels kind of hollow and corporate, but having Swanky Kong wish you a happy birthday in Swanky Kong's Pizza Buffet, that would make it an annual tradition for me, I have to say. So anyway, the big appeal for me is the hub. It's the thriving possibilities of creating this restaurant/arcade in a real space and getting to explore it. And that would be most of the fun, even more so than the games, would just be walking to and fro. You could go into the bathrooms. I don't know what you would do in there, how that would translate to gameplay, but I just like knowing that they're there.
Yeah, okay.
You have to empty out your pee meter because you drank too much Coca-Cola.
Yeah, you can't get the high score if you drink too much Coca-Cola, but then if you don't drink enough Coca-Cola, you don't have enough energy. You know what? I liked that idea of going person to person and pitching a game. But before we do that, and I already tried it and it didn't work.
Maybe this time it'll work.
But before I do that, I did want to say, okay, so I have some ideas of what I think are the high-level games. And then I have some ideas of but then you'll have maybe some small, mini games.
Right.
And it's whatever, and we'll talk about it. But before we get into any of that, I did want to talk about what I consider a pretty substantial feature, but also a side feature. And that is the fact that, okay, this game would have an arcade in it. And in that arcade, you could play actual games, like arcade games that are Donkey Kong games.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Right.
So within Swanky Kong's Pizza Buffet, you would be able to go up to a Donkey Kong arcade game and play 100% the ROM of the game Donkey Kong.
That makes sense.
Another our machine cabinet is Donkey Kong Jr., etc. So what do you guys think about that?
I love it.
I mean, yeah, that's pretty obvious. I mean, you didn't even say that.
Well, but we have to tell the audience. The audience doesn't know. They're you tell them about it. Tell them about it.
I mean, we all just assumed.
I mean, our audience is pretty smart. They're pretty on the ball. They know what's going on. They know what's up.
What else would there be? Can you get creative with it? Can you think of something more?
Oh, yeah.
Can you expand?
Yeah, sure. Here, okay. Well, there's a lot of fun arcade games that I mean, I'm sure they've been replicated in video game form, but maybe not on this level. Not in this, high profile of a game. Because if you're just selling a skee-ball game as a video game, nobody's going to buy that. Nobody cares. But you put skee-ball in Swanky Kong's Pizza Buffet. I love skee-ball in real life. That's one of my favorite things to do when I go to an arcade. And usually I can only find a thriving arcade when I go to, say, the beach, on the boardwalk or nearby. You'll find a pretty substantial arcade. Here in Virginia Beach, we got Flipper McCoy's is an arcade I always check out. And infamously, one time they had a whole crane game full of plush Donkey Kongs and nothing but. What? It was fabulous. But yeah, I love skee-ball. You take the wooden balls in your hand and you just roll them up and you try to get in the center of the point rings. I love skee-ball. I also love air hockey. Just playing air hockey. And there's just something so satisfying about hitting that puck. And it gets out all my frustration, sexual or otherwise.
Awesome.
So
yeah, I think it would be fun to take those games, skee-ball, air hockey, etc., and reskin them to be Donkey Kong themed. Make them all jungly.
I mean, they could be jungly, or they could just be skee-ball and air hockey. You don't need to gussy them up. I mean, it's
no. We're gonna gussy them, but
we're gonna gussy
they don't. But they don't have to only be jungly. That's going to be the fun part.
Right.
Is that they could be anything Donkey Kong. You can have, there could be a darts minigame.
Yeah.
And there are five dart boards where here's a dartboard in the jungle. Here's a dartboard in the pirate ship. Here's a dartboard in the ancient temple. Here's a dartboard in the factory. I don't remember Donkey Kong.
The snow one.
Snow. But yeah, you get it. You could have all these. You could have skins, and then. But the point being, and we're going to talk about, I think, the bigger modes later. But yes, I think you would skin them at least a little. Like the darts.
Maybe not like a whole ton. Maybe don't skin it so it's you're actually in Donkey Kong Jungle. But you can do a little to theme it.
The dartboard is a little bit colored to be Donkey Kong dartboard. And it's okay, so here's the thing. I have a dartboard.
No way.
You don't need to
And-
brag.
All right. Come on. I don't want to be that guy, but I just want to say that people who have darts, people who are darts people, you know, the tail on the end of the dart,
Uh-huh.
it's customizable. It's an expression. It's a form of expression. The tail on the end of the dart is 100% a cosmetic item. You know what I mean? And if you're gonna have a dart game, let each team have their different darts with different cosmetics. Like, oh, I've got the Diddy Kong darts with cool little Diddy Kong tail on it. I've got the Kremlin King K. Rool darts with the whatever, you know, Rambi the Rhino darts, etc. So those are the thing. The point is, Hyle says, don't skid it. Just put in a dartboard, and I'm like,
you know
no,
what
you
idea
can.
that gives me is
What does it do?
maybe some of the prizes you can unlock with your various little tickets. New dart cosmetics, new cosmetics for the dart board or for other games.
Yes, and I think that prize room is like a whole subject. I think we'll come to it. I think we're going to come back to it. But I'm with you. I think that each of these games should have like cosmetic unlockable at the prize room. That's a for sure. Right? Like that's a for sure.
Yeah, something that feels satisfying to unlock.
Absolutely. But
Something
I like
you're
the
working
idea
towards.
of going
Yeah.
back to specifically going back to the arcade element. I like this idea that you can walk around and I'll give you an example. I played a Pac-Man game. I don't even know what it was. It cost me like $1 on a Humble Bundle or something. I don't even like Pac-Man, guys. But I have this game on my was it on my computer or was it on my Xbox? I don't even remember. I played a Pac-Man game where you walked around an arcade and you could decorate the arcade. You could custom where you put stuff. And then it had all these cabinets, and each cabinet was like, oh, I'll put this cabinet here and I'll put that one over there. And that was a game. That cabinet was an entire Pac-Man game that existed, and you could do it. And I'm thinking of like an arcade in a Donkey Kong world that is just full of Donkey Kong games. And there's not that many Donkey Kong arcade games. We have Donkey Kong, Donkey Kong Jr., Donkey Kong 3. But you could cheat. You could put a couple of other like Nintendo games. Like, what if you're in your little Swanky Kong arcade room? By the way, as an example, just like imagine the arcade room in the ukulele game, right? With Trouser, he has an arcade, right?
Rextro.
Or not Trouser, Rextro.
Yeah.
He's got an arcade, you know, all these little games. But like, picture it: you walking around an arcade room. Each cabinet plays a game, and then you've got like ice climbers, and then you've got like Punch Out. Like, this game is gonna be made by Nintendo. It's not gonna be made at all. But like, if it were made, it would be a game made by Nintendo, and they could put these games in the arcade. They could be like, okay, well, you step up to a cabinet, and at that cabinet, you can play the game of Punch Out. And it's in there. And that's cool. Like, that's like a thing you could do. It doesn't have to be only Donkey Kong stuff, but it would have to be stuff that is of the era that, like, matches that, right? You know what I mean? Like, it would have to be things that make sense to be on an arcade cabinet.
I also think there are Japanese exclusive Jungle Beat tie-in arcade games.
Now we're talking.
Donkey Kong, poorly named Donkey Kong Jungle Fever. It's like a medallion game.
We like that, yeah.
Donkey Kong Banana Kingdom is another one. But put those in there. Why the hell not?
Put them in there.
Yeah, why not? I don't care.
I don't even care. Why do it? I mean, why not do it?
Yeah, that's the one.
So you've got the arcade. You walk around the shop. You can walk around the building. You've got the arcade area with the arcade games and the little games. We've got entire cabinets that launch emulated entire video games. That was the thing. But, as you guys pointed out, you're also going to have, I'm going to call them mini games. Skee ball. Air hockey. I'm going to put in that same category like a whack-a-mole.
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh, they could be the little moles from Donkey Kong Country Returns.
Yes,
yeah.
Whack-A-Mole from those moles. And I think I was the one who said darts. That doesn't feel like the same category. But also, the one I'll say also is I really like Plinko. But that's just a game of sort of random chance, isn't it? Is that the same category? I like Plinko a lot.
Plinko, the Price is Right game.
Plinko... The Price is Right did not invent Plinko.
The Plinko is from Price is Right.
Is it?
Are you thinking Pachinko?
Oh, I am thinking of Pachinko. I'm thinking of Pachinko. I like Pachinko.
You know what? People love Plinko, though. Put Plinko in there. Call it something else.
Yeah, yeah, they could call it Pachinko. I don't know. Okay, so little games like all of those. Another one that I think is not, I would not call a full-fledged game. I'm going to call a mini game. Is like basketball hoop contest.
Yeah.
But who doesn't love that? You go to the arcade and you have the basketball hoop contest. Who doesn't love that? It's fun.
Here, okay, but Jeff, expanding on this, and excuse me if it's not my turn, but I'm getting really excited now. You're jazzing me up, and I just can't.
I
I
love
don't
the
think
energy.
we're taking turns. I don't think we're taking turns anymore.
Okay, it's a free for all. Okay. So you would also, you mentioned Donkey Kong Pinball and how, wouldn't it be nice if we had a Donkey Kong Pinball game? But we'll never get that. But in an arcade family fun center setting, you could have a Donkey Kong pinball machine.
Yeah, so that was like the whole thing. That was basically the fundamental basis of the whole idea, yes.
That's what brings it all together.
Yes.
I wanted to have all of this because I wanted A, Donkey Kong Pinball, B, Donkey Kong Mini Golf, and C, Donkey Kong Bowling. So let's talk about those one at a time, and after that, or in any order, more things if you have more. There might even be more. Who knows how many there are? But how you said pinball.
I did.
I personally think that's a great idea that you just came up with.
Good job, Hyle.
What can I
Pinball,
say?
okay. Pinball video games have been around for a long time. At least since Obama. And
Wasn't that the name of the pinball game on the GameCube that was going to use the DK bongos? It was
you
Obama.
could use the DK. You could use the DK bongos in that one. I think the Obama. Yeah, good call. It's so funny. Pinball. What I love about pinball, other than everything, is you in a pinball video game, you're gonna get your custom boards. But let me tell you this: why does this apply to Donkey Kong specifically? Okay. Pinball is kinetic. Pinball is about bouncing around from place to place. Barrel cannons. Animal buddies. Mine carts. You can imagine all of the kinetic elements of the Donkey Kong Country video game series. You can imagine those things playing into pinball boards, okay? Just the variety of types of barrel cannons. Like, just that alone is like such a thing. The elements, okay. So, different boards. That's the thing. Okay, now we're getting into a place where I'm about to start describing. I think in this game, Swanky Kong's Pizza Buffet, there are a few key higher level modes that are. This is bigger than Whack-A-Mole. This is bigger than Skee Ball. Pinball
I thought you were going to say,
this
this is bigger than any of us.
This is bigger than all of us, okay? We need to commit ourselves to something bigger. Pinball is not a mini game. Pinball is a mode with multiple boards that it's like, okay, pinball, they've made like 5 boards for it. It is a full-blown like mode in the game. It's fleshed out. It's not one mini game of a wide range of stuff. It is a sub mode, like it's been given a little more love. And that's one of the things. We're going to talk about some others. That's one of them. But like, imagine a Donkey Kong pinball board in DK Jungle or Congo Jungle. But then another Donkey Kong pinball board on the Gangplank Galleon. Okay. And then another Donkey Kong pinball board in a mix of caves and temples. You know what I mean? Like, you've got these different pinball boards. And
caves and temples.
You know, caves and temples, etc. We all love this. We all play so many pinball games on computer video. What do you guys think?
No, I love it.
You love it.
It's long overdue. You know, we're supposed to be getting this rare themed pinball machine or downloadable program on these digital pinball machines this December.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, I did too, until we just mentioned it. Of course, I have to give a shout out to DK Vine friend Ray Day Pinball, who just won once again, or maybe for the first. They rack up all these pinball championships, but they're the national champion in pinball. They just won it.
Congratulations to Ray Day Pinball.
Yeah,
good job.
Right. So I feel like we would all be at a disadvantage because Ray Day Pinball would just destroy us in Donkey Kong pinball machines in Swanky Kong's Pizza Buffet. But I'm all for it because I have always wanted a video game Donkey Kong pinball. I was so jealous of the Super Mario pinball game that came out on the GBA. I was so jealous of Metroid Prime pinball on the DS. It's
Pokemon pinball is always the one I think of.
I always think of Sonic Spinball, which I had, and then also Galactic Pinball on the Virtual Boy, which is my first pinball game. I never heard of pinball in my whole life until I played Galactic Pinball on the Virtual Boy.
Yeah. Yeah, I love Galactic Pinball. Obviously, I've gone on and on about that over the years. But yeah, I'm a big pinball fan. Obviously, not as much as Ray Day Pinball, because my name isn't Hyle Russell Pinball. I can't compete.
Yeah, congratulations to Ray Day Pinball. You're pretty cool.
I think it's a great idea. I think that it would be a big selling point of the game. Just the pinball alone would sell this game to a certain subset of Donkey Kong fans, for sure. But
yeah, imagine if there's 4 boards. You have 4 different pinball boards. That's great.
Maybe you can unlock even more. But here's what I'm thinking, because you talked about the substantial games that aren't just arcade emulations. And one thing you haven't brought up that I associate with environments like this, be they family fun centers, be they skating rinks, laser tag.
I didn't even think about laser tag.
Yeah. And
that's not true. That's not true, Dustin, because the last time we talked about this, you were only talking about laser tag.
That's all I could even think about.
You fucking did not shut up. You said, I want to have laser... Anyway, go ahead.
No. So, I mentioned before, Splatoon nullifies my earlier idea of Donkey Kong paintball. Because that was an idea I had before Splatoon came along. It's like, that would be an appropriate arena that Donkey Kong could do that Mario would probably never touch. But then Splatoon came along, made its own franchise out of, the basic concept, and everybody loves Splatoon, so, don't want to touch that. But laser tag in the confines of Swanky Kong's Pizza Buffet, that's a realm Donkey Kong could still have, or in this case, Swanky Kong could still have. And yeah, I would love that. You could play online with your friends, shooting a laser tag through the black light neon hallways and environments.
Love it.
So here's the question that we get into, and we didn't talk about it with pinball. I should have probably brought this up. For example, in Metroid Prime Pinball, the ball is Samus wrapped up into a ball, and then in Sonic Spinball, the ball is Sonic spinning into a ball. In Donkey Kong Pinball, I'm assuming the ball is Donkey Kong. When Donkey Kong blasts out of a barrel and then launches into another barrel, he's basically a ball.
Right.
And so I think that works. He's like circled. He's like in the fetal position. He's rolling through the air. And I think that
Jeff,
works for
lest
pinball.
we forget, he also rolls into a ball.
Does he roll?
Yeah, he does the roll into the enemy guy.
Okay, I'll take your word for that. So, that's one question. Okay, but so the question you have to ask yourself in each of these examples. Okay, let's talk. Okay, laser tag. Are we playing as Kongs?
So the way I pictured it was no. The way I pictured it was you are playing as just you make your fella, you make your little
Are we
player
playing
character.
As Nintendo Mii's?
Yes. That's what I'm vouching for. As your me, because the appeal of Swanky Kong's Pizza Buffet is it is set in universe, right? The guy Swanky Kong is there, and you have a chance to meet him if you're the special birthday person, right? So you still have that grounding, that visceral thrill. This isn't a Nintendo Land situation where there is this level of artifice and you're being held at bay from the actual IP. But
but on the opposite end, this is not a fully you are playing Mario Tennis. So if you want to play tennis, you're going to have to play as Yoshi or Toad. Yeah. You're saying no. If you want to play tennis in this game, you're going to be you.
I think it's important because you are visiting Swanky Kong's Pizza Buffet. You are the one getting to have this fun-filled family outing. And if it's Diddy Kong who gets to do this, if it's Donkey Kong who gets to do this, well, they get to have all the fun. Where's my fun? When do I get to meet Swanky Kong? And maybe you
they meet him every day.
Maybe you can run into Funky Kong, in the bathrooms. You can go to the urinal and there's Funky Kong next to you.
He says, "Hey kid, you got a cigarette?"
Maybe that could be a special treat, is the off chance you will encounter an actual Donkey Kong character roaming around.
A special occasion.
Yes. But or just a random chance, the third Saturday of the month. Dixie Kong's there. But I think it's important for the presentation, for the kind of thrill you get, if it's your character, if it's you roaming the neon and blacklight drenched halls of Swanky Kong's Pizza Buffet.
And then those halls themselves are not in Donkey Kong's world at all. They're not jungle halls. They're just you're not picturing them being. You're not picturing them being a jungle hall.
I think it's a
fusion.
Could
be themed.
Yeah. I think you can, the location of Swanky Kong's Pizza Buffet, maybe it's deliberately ambiguous. It's probably on Donkey Kong Island somewhere, but maybe it's Big Ape City. Maybe we're not getting into it. All right? We're just going to, because you're never going to leave the actual confines of the Pizza Buffet.
Because I'm still picturing this as, if you pitched this and said, this is Donkey Kong laser tag, then I would be upset if it looked like the laser tags I have played in my life and there was not a jungle tree. I think maybe there should be a palm frond in there.
Sure. I think you can bring in a little bit of that and you can have that kind of fusion, but I think it's important to retain the aesthetics of these places that we all think about, this arcade environment. And I think if you theme it too heavily as just the Tarzan aesthetic, where it's all rustic, then it would lose
Donkey Kong. Let's call it the Donkey Kong aesthetic.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. I think it would lose a little bit of something. So maybe it's a 70-30 split. 70% arcade, 30% Donkey Kong.
Yeah, I'm not saying that the arcade cabinets are made out of a coconut.
I'm kind of imagining a Rainforest Cafe sort of style.
Yeah, Rainforest Cafe. What a good callback, because that kind of ties into the feeling of all of this. We're talking about theme restaurants. We're talking about family fun locations. That works. I like the theme, the Rainforest Cafe call out. Good call. I will say, when you say that we step into laser tag, but we play as the me, that's an interesting take, because you know, I specifically really struggled on whether or not I thought laser tag was in this. Because I'm like, do you do laser tag? Do you do laser tag in this? Because pinball is obvious. Pinball is definitely in. Pinball is like 100% in. No question. Pinball's in. And the pinball ball is Donkey Kong rolled up in a ball. That's no question. Because if you ask yourself, am I making Donkey Kong pinball? And then the answer is yes, I'm making it. And then what is that? It's Donkey Kong is a pinball. Is there laser tag? I thought it was a little bit outside the purview, but you guys convinced me. It's in. Woo! It's in. However,
I think it's worth having in.
It's in. However, you have me second guessing everything else because I have some other games that I think are in, but now I'm trying to imagine what they are, and you guys are going in a different direction.
Interesting.
Of what I think this is. You're going in a different direction because if you and I think it's a difference of two different questions. If you say, is there for example, is there a bowling mode in Swanky Kong's Pizza Buffet? What does that look like? That's one question. And then as a totally different question, if you say the words, what does a Donkey Kong bowling game look like? That's a different question. And in my mind, I was kind of going that way. I was like, okay, this is a Donkey Kong bowling game, and it's a Donkey Kong mini golf game, and it's a Donkey Kong pinball game. And in that question, I'm like, you get to play as Diddy Kong. You get to play as Funky Kong. You get to go to the bowling alley and be Dixie Kong. Sure. You guys have just talked me into a whole different world where
the thing is,
where the bowling alley is just like you're a me with crazy eyebrows.
I'm sold.
Or no eyebrows. You don't even have to have
Who
the
knows?
eyebrows.
He doesn't even have a head.
Endlessly. Swanky Kong's just looking over, concerned. It's like, okay, we're gonna have a good time still. I hope.
Hey, buddy. Yeah, you can come in.
Yeah, he just.
There's. Yeah, just sign this paper. Yeah, see, the thing is, I totally see the appeal in the way you were thinking of it, too. Because I think if I were going into a game like this, not knowing what it was, I would assume it's like, oh, I can go bowling as like the Mario Sports Mix thing. Like, I could play as any of these Kong favorites. And I do feel like that's... I feel like that's a little away from how I was imagining it, but also, if it was that, I would be just as happy.
So
yeah.
In the live stream, Andre says, would Cranky Kong be a frequent patron in appreciation of the old arcade machines? Or would he find something to complain about to the point that he wouldn't even appreciate that? Well, I've got an idea that might solve everybody's problem here. So, Jeff, to your point, like the thrill of getting to play as, say, Kiddy Kong, bowling, or whatever. What if Cranky Kong, because we know Cranky has some sort of relationship with Swanky Kong. Cranky was
they
all
both
about
exist.
No, but they work together kind of in Donkey Kong Country 3. So what if Cranky Kong is like the on-site technician? Because he's a scientist, Cranky Kong. What if he has this machine that can turn Kongs into the bowling balls? Right? So you're actually bowling Kiddy, like Cranky Kong's there, like working the lanes, and he presses the button, and Kiddy Kong becomes your ball, and he rolls down the chute.
Okay.
You pick up Kiddy Kong.
This just blew the lid off like any lingering threads of realism.
Okay, no, listen. Hyle's right because of what I'm about to say.
Okay.
Picture Okay.
For the record, I'm on board with this idea.
No, we know. I don't have to convince you. I have to convince myself.
Okay.
So, picture Wii style. All right, you're stepping into Wii bowling, all right, but it's Donkey Kong bowling. And we're getting like some panning shots of like the bowling alley and then another angle, the bowling alley. And then you see Kiddy Kong and he does this little animation where he kind of like happily dancing steps forward like 1, 2, 3, clap, and then he transforms into a bowling ball. And then your me stands, like walks up and grabs him, and then you go into gameplay. And now you are holding Kiddy Kong, who is a bowling ball, and you can throw him. Now, this little animation, every Kong that is in the Kong family has their own little animation where they turn into a bowling ball, where they turn into a pinball, where they turn into a mini golf ball, etc., where they turn into a laser tag gun. Okay? And that's the game. It's just like, oh, I just unlocked Cranky Kong. I'm gonna play laser tag, and now he has a little animation where he's like, and he's like shaking his cane, and then he transforms into the gun, and you pick him up and do laser tag.
It's a good way so you're still playing as yourself, but the Kongs can still be involved.
Yes, exactly.
You're
choosing your loadout. You're choosing, splits the difference. You're like, oh, I get to be me. I get to be my me, M-I-I, and I'm going to choose the Kong I want, who's my favorite, to be my bowling ball or my laser tag gun.
I have a suggestion for the bowling one, and feel free to shoot it down if it's no good or nothing. So you know how when you're bowling, you throw the ball, but then after you throw the ball...
I know where he's going.
So after you throw Jeff, you always get me so giggly I can barely get through my thoughts.
So this is like an episode of Boy Meets World, man.
This is similar to Boy Meets World. But okay, so you...
And I'm just Topanga getting irritated in the middle. I was like, Doug Sandwich.
Yeah, we don't even need you.
But okay, so you throw the ball, it goes in the gutter, but then it gives you your ball back, and you know that area where everyone puts their bowling balls, and you can like pick one of the balls there. You don't always have to use the one you picked. What if so every time before you're about to bowl, you can pick one of the Kongs in the selection on this ball rotation. And so if you want to just stick with one Kong, you can. If you're maybe like a Diddy guy or like a Chunky Stan, you can just stick to them if you want. But if you want to mix it up, you can. And maybe, and this is the part where I'm kind of getting a little loosey goosey with it. Maybe each Kong ball has maybe like slightly different properties. So like, maybe, let's say you have like a 7-10 split, and you're like, well, Chunky's not going to be good for that. He doesn't like 7-10 splits. But Dixie Kong, sometimes if you use Dixie Kong, she'll use her long hair to cover a bit more ground.
So in bowling ball terms, there's actually a term for this, because different balls that come up across the ball return, they do actually have different stats. Specifically, sometimes one of them is like a 12, but then
some
the
are
other
heavier.
One of them might be like a 9, or something. And that's true. But like, no, I'm right with you, because Dixie Kong, let's say, it's a split, but Dixie Kong can do a sort of spin. She could sort of tornado it, you know.
Right.
And so you're like, oh, that's good for splits. But then like Chunky Kong is like power. He's power, you know. And I'm with you. Like that's the sort of what do you call this? Gameplay.
Yeah, that's like a gameplay mechanic.
They could do like a whole video game and do gameplay about this.
I think we're onto something.
Yeah,
So-
Hyle, what do you think?
Well, I just want to say really quick, in the live stream, Cameron points out that the whole idea of turning the Kongs into balls, there is precedent for this, because in Mario Pinball, there's the contraption that compresses Mario into a ball. So
That's
Nintendo
true.
has already played with these notions, so they shouldn't be put off by our pitch here. They should be like, that makes complete sense. We're doing this again.
In this world, that is something that can totally happen.
So in Swanky, but okay. I want this to be mostly a fun game where people could play pinball or bowling, etc., with Donkey Kong theme to it. That's my main goal. The most obvious way to do that is that you step up to the bowling lane and you get to play as Diddy Kong, okay? But we've already talked ourselves away from that, and I'm okay with that. That's fine. You do not get to play as Diddy Kong. That's fine. However, we are now resigning ourselves to a world where every game, and this is what I'm going to get adamant about this. Every single game has to have real canon Kong characters transforming into the balls or pucks or things or darts or whatevers. And I don't want you to even ask me, why are they doing this? Don't ask me that.
No,
why is Cranky Kong allowing you, me, to bowl him? Don't ask me, because I don't want to know. All I care about is the user experience, because I am a Nintendo-minded... I'm Nintendo-pilled. I'm a Miyamoto boy. Cranky Kong... I don't need to explain in universe why Cranky Kong allows you to bowl him.
Jeff, I believe you said that you are the troop leader for the Miyamoto Scouts.
I believe you said that, yes, and it's true. So we talked about pinball. There's these different boards.
Yeah,
Uh-huh.
I think we've just said most of what we can say about bowling. Although I do want to say there's got to be different types of bowling lanes, right? Like you've got the jungle. There's a jungle lane. There's a pirate ship lane. There's a temple lane. I'm gonna use the same four like tropes of archetypes each time, and it's going to sound like I'm stupid, but each time it's going to be uniquely exciting because it's going to be applied to a different context.
Jeff,
the idea
Still
of
Village Lane.
The idea of a pirate ship pinball board. Yeah, Hyle, hit me.
I'm
please.
so excited.
Tell me.
I'm so excited. I have an idea to augment
I want this.
your bowling idea, and I can't wait. I can't wait my turn because you might move on to something else.
I cannot wait for you.
Okay. So 11 p.m. when your we'll call it switch 2, right? When your switch 2 internal clock reads 11 p.m., then the bowling shifts over to Cosmic Highway Bowling.
Love it.
From Donkey Kong Barrel Blast / Jet Race.
That's a good one. That's a good deep cut.
Hyle, you are so true. There might be nothing better than that moment at the bowling alley when it turns into Cosmic Bowling.
Yes.
It's a little bit like sex, but better.
Right.
It's like being probed during an alien abduction. You're just like, oh.
All right, I'll say this. I like bowling. I love Cosmic Bowling. But then if I was Cosmic Bowling and my ball was Chunky Kong, I would like that more than sex, probably. That would be the difference maker. So
I'm just imagining the Chunky Kong ball going down the lane and making
he has sound effects.
Yeah, he goes.
What if 11 p.m. We'll say you can access Cosmic Highway Bowling from like 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. Okay, so it's just a very limited window, but that makes it all the more special. And what if the host for Cosmic Highway Bowling beams down from the planet Plantain? It's our old friend Xananab.
Hell yeah.
Wow. All right, Hyle. You are operating at another level right now. You are out of this park. Out
of this world,
that
one
idea.
might say.
You're out of this world like an alien. What? Okay. And we did say that all these things, we're talking about different boards, we're talking about different balls, we're talking about different pins on the bowling pins. All of this are prizes. They're unlockables. We're going to talk about prizes later. I keep teasing it, but we're going to talk about it later. What about more games? Hyle, we keep alluding to mini golf. Talk to me about miniature. Talk to me about miniature golf. What's your experience? What's your life experience with miniature golf?
Well, I've lived a life with mini golf. Let me tell you what. So I love miniature golf. I think it is the purest sport there is. It's something that I get giddy when I get to play miniature golf. And I've talked about, like, again, Virginia Beach. I'm just talking from my own life experiences, but a few scant blocks from Flipper McCoy's, there are numerous miniature golf courses at Virginia Beach. And there's my favorite. There's Jungle Golf, which has a jungle theme, complete with, like, ceramic gorilla statues with the gorilla asses, and you golf underneath them, and you got your giraffes and what have you, your elephants, and then right across the street from Jungle Golf, Pirate Golf, and I'm just like, this is where I belong. This is my home. Yeah, brother. So I love golf. I love mini golf. I don't really like normal, regular, rich white people golf. But mini golf is fun. It's enchanting. It actually requires strategy and some, thought. And I don't know if I've ever played an accurate representation of mini golf in video game form. I'm sure it exists. I'm sure it's out there, and I just haven't experienced it because I'm this sheltered DKU freak. But in all of the times I've played mini golf in a game, it's always been this ancillary mode, and it's always just been undercooked. It's never had the trappings, the props, the charm of actual miniature golf. And so I would like to see that brought into a video game properly for the first time. And hell yeah, you could do some Donkey Kong themes with it. You could do jungle. You could do pirate ship. You could do temples. You could do caves.
like each hole is like a different kind of theme to it?
Yeah.
Like with its own decoration?
Well, okay, so now I'll go ahead and step in because I want to talk about a video game. There's a video game that I like, and it's called Golf with Friends. Golf with Friends is a video game. Dustin, you know about it. Hyle doesn't know about games. I don't know, man. Do you? I don't know.
I don't think I've heard of it.
Adam knows. He played it with me. Cameron played it with me, I think. Golf with Friends is a video game. I think it was published. Is Golf with Friends not published by Playtonic? Maybe it's not. No, they published the different golf game. Fuck
yeah.
That.
I'm sure it's
Golf
fine.
with Friends. Anyway, short point being, Golf with Friends. It's a mini golf game, and you can play online with people. And each course, like a course, is 18 holes. Each course is one theme. So if the theme is jungle, they use all their jungle assets, like 3-dimensional jungle assets. Like we've got palm trees and we've got bushes and we've got an alligator or whatever. They use all those assets to make 18 holes around a single 3-dimensional space. And so you do this mini putt hole, and then you move on to the next one, and you move on to the next one, and you move on to the next one, and you go through 18 holes, and it's all jungle. But then they've got another theme set that's this is the pirate mini golf set, and it's 18 holes where all 18 of them are pirate themed, but it's using all those same assets, and it's all in one 3-dimensional space that they're set up for. You can do through this hole, and then you go to that hole, and then you go to that hole. Just like if you're at a real mini golf course in real life, they all exist in in a 3-dimensional space. You go to hole 1, and when you're done, you have to walk to hole 2, which is right over next to it. It's a 3-dimensional space where they're set up, and you go from point A to point B to point C, and it's a 3-dimensional space. That's mini golf, and that video game does that. And I am calling out that game. I'm sure that there are probably a million maybe games that have done this. I don't know. I've never played a mini golf game that did this, other than Golf with Friends. That's my reference for a video game mini golf. But it does this. But what they've done is each of their sets of each 18 holes is one theme. And that would be cool in Donkey Kong. Like, what if Donkey Kong mini golf was like, we've got 4 different courses, and each course is 18 holes in a theme. Like, here's the jungle course. It's 18 jungle holes. And if you want to play a different course, that's a whole different course with 18 pirate-themed holes.
Love it.
And then another one that's some other Donkey Kong thing.
There's probably others.
For example, cave or temple, etc. You know, but we can do. I don't know how much we can expect this game to do, because this is not one game that is all mini golf. This is one game in which mini golf is one part of it.
But here's the great thing about Swanky Kong's Pizza Buffet, Jeff.
Yes.
In an actual family fun center, it would be limited in real estate because it's set in a strip mall or in some, you know, like you only have so much you can actually fit into the building or on the grounds themselves. But with Swanky Kong's Pizza Buffet, it can be as big as you want, so long as it's actually laid out in real time. Because you brought up the walking is very important.
I think you brought up the walking. But sure.
Well, you brought up the walking with your little golf game that wasn't published by Playtonic. And
I don't remember who brought up the walking.
I don't know if I used the word walking, but you can.
You said you had to walk from hole to hole.
I said in real life you would have to walk from hole to hole.
But not
sure,
in your
yes,
not in the golf. Okay, well the walking
in the
is
golf
very
game,
important.
it's automatic.
Because
it's important. Let's walk.
Your me is in this pizza buffet, right? And your me is walking to and fro. It has to feel like an actual location. So there's no fast travel. You're not just like bouncing from hole to hole and the game is just warping you. None of that crap. No, you have to do the work, because the work makes the play all the sweeter.
Hyle, what I'll tell you is that it is like, and you know what? You can fight me at home if you don't agree with this. It is like how Diddy Kong Racing took the concept of kart racing tracks and then put them in a 3-dimensional world where you have to go from place to place to access the tracks. And I'm not saying that this has to be only adventure mode to be able to do it. I'm not saying it's adventure mode of bowling or whatever. But I am saying that there is an appeal to seeing the tracks and the lanes and the everything, the mini golf holes and everything. There's an appeal to seeing it laid out in a physical 3D space that you navigate. And that's the appeal of Diddy Kong Racing's Overworld, the adventure mode. There's a huge appeal to that.
Running around going to where you're going to be doing the stuff.
Right. And I think that if Diddy Kong Racing was made today, the way I would want it done, and this could be an episode of the Kongversation, it might be what we're transitioning to right now, is I'm just kidding. The way I would do Diddy Kong Racing today is that I would create a full massive overworld of like the tracks themselves all exist in one giant 3D space, and you drive around an overworld and you're like, oh, I want to drive onto this track and do this race. That race is not I don't drive through a portal to get to the race. That 3D environment is in the space I'm in. And then I click on an NPC and he says, start the race. And I do it and I'm in that space. I guess that's sort of like a Forza Horizon type like world. And but anyway, there's an appeal to that. There's an appeal to seeing each of the like locations rendered out in your physical space. This is where the bowling lanes are. This is where the mini golf courses are,
well,
etc. So
that's
Kyle,
part of why
I'm
I
right
like.
with you.
That's part of why I prefer Banjo-Tooie over Kazooie. Is I like having that world where I can walk around in and go right to where places physically are, rather than just like hopping through like a treasure chest to get to Treasure Trove Cove or whatever. So I think having something like that here would be more satisfying.
Sure.
And it's like it's limited and grounded. We're not talking about an expansive, like Grand Theft Auto is like we have the entire island of Manhattan or whatever.
Right. This is just a little fun family center.
Everything we're talking about, the largest space is like a mini golf course.
Right.
It's all contained within a building, and it's a limited space. But we can see where everything is in relation to each other, and it's cute.
It's cute. It's probably a little bit bigger than a real pizza buffet would be, but that's okay.
Yeah, because it can be fantastical. Because in real life, the ball on the mini golf course is not a canonical gorilla that's the king of an island.
Yes, and the owner of your pizza buffet isn't a gorilla with gold teeth.
Yeah, and there isn't like a guy that always hangs out at the wave race machine, etc.
Well, let's talk a little bit about who would be hanging out, because, is this going to be an always online game? Because we talked a little bit about, the possibility of birthday parties, and that really excited me. But is this going to be a game you could just play offline as well? And would there be, to fill out the pizza buffet, to fill out the arcade, to fill out all of the various sundries, the bathrooms, would there be NPCs roaming about?
I think there would have to be. You don't want it to you don't want to rely on having to play with other people all the time.
I agree.
Sure. So
I picture it like an Animal Crossing, for example, where you're online, and if you have friends, you might see your friend wandering the arcade, like not literally them online at the time, but like their character is wandering the arcade, and then you see like, oh, look what their highest score on bowling is or whatever. But then you also will see game-generated NPCs.
Yes. And since we already have Mii's in there, this means it doesn't necessarily have to be confined to the world of Donkey Kong. Like, they don't have to be Brothers Bears mucking about, or Kip and Cass of the Kremlin crew. You could have some weird original characters. And there was one character in particular that we all kind of workshopped that I don't know who first uttered this character's name. But
I don't know. Yeah, this was the part that I didn't come up with. You guys
okay.
I only came up with the video game.
We came up with the part that's maybe the most disconnected from the game.
Hyle said that this was like a 25, 25, 25, 25 split, and I have to agree. But the 25% I came up with was the whole video game, and then the 75% rest is the stuff we're about to talk about.
Right, it kind of eclipsed the game stuff.
So, yeah, when we were first talking about this back in April, we talked about the possibility of other enjoyers of the pizza buffet, and how there's always one kid in this kind of environment that's just a little shit, right? Because it's basically a wonderland for your childhood id, and some kids can't handle that. And I don't know how we eventually evolved it to this character, but we came up with this little boy by the name of Clarence Ferguson. And I love that 5 months later I still remember the name.
It's such an unforgettable name.
No, it's unforgettable, Clarence Ferguson. He's at the arcade.
Dustin, would you like to explain a little bit about Clarence Ferguson, who must be part of Swanky Kong's Pizza Buffet? It's contingent that Nintendo agree that Clarence Ferguson is going to be in this game.
Yeah, okay. So Clarence Ferguson, he's a small child full of wonder. He loves this family fun center. He's a little husky, maybe an asthmatic. He's kind of breathing a little heavily. He has a bowl cut. His mouth is open a lot because he's doing his heavy breathing. He's just kind of waddling around. He does like the arcade games. But, you know, he's just kind of wandering around without much parental supervision because his freshly divorced dad is busy playing one of the games. So, you know, he's just a kid trying to have some fun in this environment.
Yeah. His dad is never...
I don't think we gave him a name.
His dad doesn't have a name, but his dad does not ever
Irrelevant.
stop playing the wave race machine. The wave ride. We'll call it the wave ride machine so that it's not copyright.
Right.
Right.
But yeah.
Now, does the fact that Clarence Ferguson's dad, he's always on that machine, the wave
It means
ride
that
machine.
you, the player, cannot play it. Yes.
Right. It's actually inaccessible.
They didn't actually program it into the game. It's a gag in the game that you can never play the wave ride machine.
Right. On the screen, it's just like a little looping animation.
When you physically navigate your Mii to that spot, the man will always be in the way. You cannot play it. It's sort of like a
And he's always muttering.
Illegal.
He's always muttering about his wife's new boyfriend.
If there's something about him that you need to know, it's that he's always muttering.
Yeah, you do need to know that. That's true.
And occasionally Clarence Ferguson will come over to his dad and ask for more money.
Yeah, well, for example, I might say, Clarence might say to his dad, like, hey, Dad.
What? What is it?
Hey, Dad.
Yeah.
Hey, Dad.
What?
I run out of tokens.
All right.
Can I, hey, Dad.
What?
Can I have more tokens?
I'm playing Wave Rider.
Can, okay.
Bye.
I need more, hey, Dad.
What?
Dad,
Yeah.
Dad.
Yes.
Dad.
What
I need
is
more
it?
I need more tokens.
Fine. Here. Go.
Okay, thank you.
Get
All
out
right.
of here.
And then he goes off. Okay, that would be one example. That could be one example of sort of a thing you might see in Swanky Kong's.
That's just one of the
Pizza
many
buffet.
scenes.
Yeah, don't worry,
anything
there's
can
more.
happen.
Yeah,
Anything can happen.
So part of the pitch for Clarence Ferguson was that you can have encounters with Clarence Ferguson in different parts of the pizza buffet. And in fact, Clarence Ferguson is almost a game unto himself because Clarence Ferguson can also pose challenges, can also create obstacles. And
Hyle, that's one of my favorite quotes you've ever said on the show is Clarence Ferguson can pose challenges.
That's true. Yeah, he did say
So, for example, Clarence Ferguson, maybe he has an intolerance to some of the pizza at the pizza buffet. And Clarence
imagine
Ferguson, Clarence Ferguson makes a bit of a mess
True.
in the restroom. And if you want to get on management's good side, you can clean up for Clarence Ferguson in the restroom. And maybe then you're granted a higher tier of access to some of the various, we'll call them perks of the pizza
like
buffet.
employee only areas. That's true.
Yeah.
And then, and then Clarence, he's done throwing up his guts. He goes back to his dad, and he says, hey, Dad.
What is it?
Dad,
What?
I don't like pizza.
All right. So what?
Dad,
Get out.
I think I want to eat real people.
All right. Fine. Yeah.
I want to try to eat people.
All right. Here's another token.
Okay.
Yeah, his dad's only like partially paying attention. He's playing his game.
Right. So Hyle, go ahead. Yeah. Like, for another example, I was thinking of this idea, Hyle, where what if the whole pizza buffet, when you first, like, log into the game, is a little bit run down? It's a little bit dilapidated, but the more that you play the game and give them business, it starts to upgrade the business. Like, they improve on things, and then they open up more attractions as you go, and, like, things physically look more beautiful,
shinier.
Yeah.
But also you unlock more attractions. They open up more like Swanky Kong's like, I opened up a ratty piece of shit business. But then as you give him more business, he's like, yeah, oh, business is booming. Let's open up another bowling alley. Another lane or whatever.
I'm glad you brought this up, Jeff, because you mentioned Diddy Kong Racing and the whole adventure aspect of Diddy Kong Racing.
I did.
You just used it as a way to explain like the overworld and how things are laid out in a three-dimensional space, and you have to do the work of driving or flying to the racetracks. And I was like, well, okay, well, there should be an adventure aspect to Swanky Kong's Pizza Buffet. Not something overly pressing, but something that's there, something that you're working towards beyond just the prizes. And we haven't even discussed the prizes yet, my God. But
we keep building it up, too. We keep bringing up the prizes.
Yes. So I'm thinking...
Oh, don't worry, we're going to talk about the prizes.
We're going to talk about the prizes, don't worry. That is the prize of the episode itself, is talking about the prizes. But I'm thinking, okay, if the Pizza Buffet, it's not too dilapidated, it's not too depressing, because there always has to be a sense of merriment and mirth when you walk into Swanky Kong's Pizza Buffet, even from day one. But you're right, Swanky Kong's Pizza Buffet, it's on the bubble. It could close down, and it's up to you, the patron, to make it a thriving business for your idol, Swanky Kong. So, in true 80s fashion, because, you know, the arcade scene was the 1980s, in true 80s teen movie fashion, King K. Rool has eyes on the real estate space that Swanky Kong's Pizza Buffet is occupying.
We're getting a villain in there.
Yeah, he wants to redevelop it. And unless Swanky Kong comes up with the money, comes up with the business to like pay his lease and keep expanding it and keep K. Rool at bay, because K. Rool is going to put in
he wants to turn it into K. Rool condos.
Yeah, he wants to do something nefarious with it, and it would be no good for the Kongs. And so you've got to help out not just Swanky Kong, but all of Kong kind. And you got to keep King K. Rool at bay. And maybe like this threat can be sort of in the background at all times, because, you know, in the dining area there are TVs, so the families don't have to talk to each other. And so maybe there can be commercials for like King K. Rool condos coming soon. You know, just this threat. So,
Bro, like here, one of the ways they could convey the story, sort of a environmental storytelling, is if you're listening to sort of NPC character conversations, like if Dustin Ferguson is talking. If
I don't like this Unholy Hybrid.
What's his name?
Clarence.
Clarence Ferguson.
Clarence. Dustin Ferguson is the name of a different person. It's I think it's a director of bad movies. But
awesome.
Sorry. Clarence Ferguson could be a character, for example, in the game. And then if you're listening to the conversations he's having, it might convey some of the background story of the game. Right, Dustin?
Right. I'm with you.
Okay. Like if Clarence goes up to his dad and he says, "Hey, Dad."
Yeah.
Dad. Hey, I heard they're gonna close.
Hold on just a second. All right, go ahead. Go ahead, Clarence.
I heard that Swanky Kong's Buffet will close down if they because King K. Rool will do condos. I heard that they're gonna do. Hey, Dad.
What? Yeah.
Why are you laughing about they're closing?
That was someone else.
Hey, Dad.
Sorry, what? Yeah.
They're gonna close down? Are they gonna close down, Dad?
Not on my fucking watch.
Are we gonna, if we will...
I love this game too much.
we'll play this game enough and they won't do it?
Yeah, I mean, probably. What?
I want to eat people.
All right.
Right, Hyle?
Yeah.
Right.
Why are you getting it back to me? Like, what am I supposed to say?
I don't know. I was an example of what you were saying.
Jeff and I do our little bit, and then we look to Hyle for acceptance.
Yeah, Dad, yeah.
Huh?
And look, like, the whole adventure aspect of it, the whole threat aspect of it, it's never that pressing because, again, you don't want to take away from the merriment and the mirth of Swanky Kong's Pizza Buffet. It has to be an inviting, welcoming experience for you, the player.
Right, you don't want to feel threatened while you're here.
There's never any risk that the Pizza Buffet is going to close down, but it's something you're working towards, and that those improvements, that quality of life, it's always on the upswing, and you're feeling like you're making a difference. Always.
Yeah.
Speaking of feeling about making progress, as you play the games, you could be working towards prizes.
Yeah.
Good segue.
Did you want me to say it? Were you building up for me to say it?
I was just I just kind of
Jeff was waiting for all of us to say it in unison.
I thought we all were ready. No, prizes. I keep saying that we'll talk about prizes, and I feel like maybe I don't want to.
Let's just not do it.
We have to talk about prizes.
Oh, we could talk about prizes, because here's the thing about a pizza buffet or family fun center. One of the best things about it is the structure of the progression, which is something you get in video games, but you rarely get in real life activities. If I want to go bowling, there's not usually like a progression strat or stat to it. Or if I want to go to the batting range or whatever, there's not a thing. But if I go to the arcade with Chuck Edward Cheese, what's his name? Education was he entertainment?
Chuck Education Cheese.
What's his
Charles Education Cheese? Yes,
he's a fucking mouse. I don't care. Look. By the way, there aren't animatronics. I mean, we're not an animatronic game. There might be animatronics, but that's not the point. We're not
right. Animatronics are there, but it's not like they're the focus. They're not. This
is not
scary
an animatronic game. We're not Friday Nights at Frenby's. But the point is this:
what's happening?
I haven't played it. I never played it. I never got around to it. But I did see the movie. I saw the movie with Josh Hutcherson. But
was it good?
No, I don't remember. Wait, was he in that, or was that the Spirit Halloween movie? I can't remember. Look, the thing about a family fun center is that there's a progression system built into a real-life activity, which is usually reserved to online activities. Online video games have progression systems. Real life rarely does, except when you go to the family fun center, every little thing you do spits tickets at you, and you're getting tickets, and then maybe, just maybe, you start to game the system for tickets, and you say, you know what, I love this game and I like that game, but that game gives more tickets, and I would like tickets because the tickets I have right now are only going to get me a little army man with a parachute, and I want to get a slap bracelet or whatever. So that system in real life is compelling. Now, when you put it into a video game, you can get even more compelling because you can talk about different pool cue sticks, different bowling ball, different bowling pin, different air hockey paddle, different pinball, Jackson, I don't know what, dartboard, dart pin, I don't know, man. You get so many little prizes and musical cues and like for example, every time I throw my dart, it makes a sound effect, and I can unlock more sound effects. Wouldn't that be fun? One
sounds like the Kremling.
When I throw my darts, but then the other one is like the
that was good.
Game Over from Donkey Kong.
Yeah,
or it's or Dustin saying like, "Boy howdy," that could be one.
Wow, well done.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, Hyle, what do you have to say about prices? Or Dustin, what do you have to say about prices?
You brought up slap bracelets earlier, and it made me think you could also unlock stuff to customize your Mii. Put like a Donkey Kong slap bracelet on your Mii, just wear it while running around.
Yeah.
Or a Donkey Kong tie.
So,
yeah.
This is something Xbox did with their avatars, but I don't think they've done it with me. What if you could then take these cosmetics out of the game and your Mii could have them? That probably wouldn't work. But
what if you could do this? And then I say, you can't.
Yeah, no, but like, what if it could become like a permanent part of your Mii? Like your Mii becomes something you could edit within Swanky Kong's Pizza Buffet. So you could have that Swanky Kong's Pizza Buffet t-shirt that you could put on in like the fashion center of the arcade. And then you could it's like it overwrites your Mii. So then whenever you use your Mii in another game, if it has the option, you're wearing the shirt.
I like it.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's something you could do, since I don't know if there are any games that do that. But
well, going forward though, like they future proof it then.
Right, the sky's the limit.
Yes,
they could future proof it.
Yeah,
Dustin, you didn't think about if they future proofed it.
Right, I didn't consider that.
No, you didn't.
There
you didn't.
Could be maybe you earn enough prizes that you even unlock another game.
Ooh, nice! Like in the arcade,
like a game. Like if you. No, I mean a game on your Nintendo Switch. You earned enough tickets and you got Legend of Zelda.
You got Bayonetta 2.
But what if
Bayonetta 2?
What if they made another Donkey Kong Country game, but you could only win
But it's only a reward. Yes. It's 100 million tickets.
Yes, and then
it's the only way to play it.
You could install it on your Nintendo Switch too, right? But the only way to win it is through Swanky Kong's Pizza.
I guess you better get it. You better play.
And there's this thing where if you win a bunch of tickets on the game, there's this sort of I guess you'd call it like an animation when the tickets are spitting out of the machine and they're hitting the floor and then they start to like bend over and then bend back and then bend over and then bend back and they stack perfectly, as these tickets are spilling out, and you start to get this perfectly like left and right stacking tickets, and it goes, and that's a good animation, and it's satisfying because we like that. And then all of a sudden you have I got 307 tickets from that round of Deal or No Deal or whatever. It's great. We love it. All of this could happen. These are things that could happen.
This is going so crazy.
No, it's going well. I think you meant to say it's going well.
Yeah, that's what I meant. You could also just get like Tootsie Rolls or something if you want.
If you didn't have enough tickets, yeah.
It gives you a sugar boost, and you can move a little bit faster because there's no fast travel, but you can move faster if you consume.
That's the running.
And we never talked about what the pizza itself does, because there will be a pizza eating component. You could just sit in the restaurant and eat pizza, but what does that actually do? Because you, the human playing this game, you're not getting any nutrients from this digital pizza. Yeah, so what does it do?
I feel like you wouldn't be getting nutrients from a pizza at a place like this anyway.
Well,
maybe not.
It would effectively serve as a meal for the day, right?
It's sort of styrofoam, maybe.
And I think it's important.
But how would this play into the gameplay, Hyle?
Yeah, I think it's important that we don't dismiss the pizza aspect of Swanky Kong's Pizza Buffet.
It is called Pizza Buffet.
Right, and like at the very least, 20% of the real estate has to be taken up with the dining area and the buffet itself. And maybe when you enter Swanky Kong's Pizza Buffet, you have to like talk to the wait staff and they're like, will you be dining and playing today or just dining? And there's a whole thing. It's like the start menu, but it's through interactions with an NPC. So anyway, the dining area, we got to do stuff with it, right? And I think one of the prizes you can win, because I'm sure they could get the license for it, is a virtual recreation of the Donkey Kong Country pog pitching game. Because look,
Oh boy.
no.
Here we go.
How much would the World Pog Federation really charge for that in 2025 or
How much would
2026?
they
They'd pay
pay?
you
How
to
much would
take
they
it.
pay for it?
Yeah, exactly. This is a lucrative income stream for Nintendo. They'd be begging them, please get our pog pitching game in Swanky Kong's Pizza Buffet. So you could win this as a prize and then play it in the dining area. I mean, I'm just thinking all sorts of thoughts right now. My mind is just spinning so fast. But as far as eating pizza goes, I don't know.
You don't have an idea? That was that whole everything you didn't have.
That whole build up, it's like that was purely for getting the pogs in there. You get some pizza. I don't know. Who cares?
Kyle Russell, you've just misled two middle Dougs in a row.
My dad is a front Doug.
Oh, he's a front Doug?
He's a front Doug. Yeah, he's not
that's
a middle
like my
Doug.
Uncle. Sounds like my uncle.
That's like my dad. My dad is also a front dog.
Dad's
Wait, your dad is a front Doug?
Yeah.
Bro.
For real.
Bro.
Should Clarence Ferguson's dad's name be Front Doug?
Front Doug.
Could be. I'm thinking that his name is Doug and then his last name starts with a K. That way, if he ever gets bonked by a Kremling, he can go into a DK barrel. That could be a thing.
So I think one of the aspects of the pizza buffet itself could be the pizza combinations. You could get freaky with it, right?
Okay. All right. Freaky. All right.
And maybe there's a thing where you have to try every single pizza available at the pizza buffet, and you get a bonus. You get whatever the achievement would be.
Hyle, I just thought of a wicked idea, and I don't know if you're gonna like it, but you might love it. Let's try it out on you. Let's just put a little taste test. What if your me is going to Swanky Kong's Pizza Buffet, and it is also a member of a scout society, and at the same time is trying to earn merit badges? So you have two conflicting progression strats. You're like have the eat every pizza badge, but also the earn tickets. So you're trying to balance two different worlds, two different societies of expectations.
Like, yeah, maybe it doesn't have to be a scout thing, but it can be something similar. Like you are.
We wouldn't call it the Boy Scouts of America.
Right,
we wouldn't call it that.
Right.
It would be something generic about it.
What if it was like, you know how, I don't think any fun centers do this, but you know how like sometimes a child will like read like 10 books or something and they'll put their name on like a star sticker and put it on the wall.
Or like a scavenger hunt. It's like, all right, do these 12 things and you get the prize.
We'll put your face on the wall.
We'll give you
photo,
your face. We will give you your face back.
Oh, like the big eater kind of thing where it's just like,
right.
Yeah. Oh, and that could be a whole game to itself, is like, because obviously your me would get full, your me would get sick, and you've got to balance the power eating with
different activities you do after eating will better balance out the food. Like if you go do something like if you go from eating to sitting in the wave ride machine, then you're not going to burn any calories. But if you go right from eating to laser tag, you might be able to burn it off and then go eat quickly again, you know?
Yeah. Oh, I think
although the rules say you're not allowed to run while laser tagging, but we're gonna run while laser tagging.
Yeah, we're not gonna just not run.
What am I, a narc? I'm running.
Yeah.
So yeah, there are different like achievements, like in-game achievements you could get for eating, right? And that would come with its own perks and honorifics. You know, get your me's face on the wall as like the big cheese gobbler.
Yeah,
the big cheese gobbler.
And all of this is still about is in the Donkey Kong world.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that part.
Don't forget that.
So then,
Should
maybe
the pizzas be like Donkey Kong themed? Like,
well, yeah. That's what I was
They're
thinking
all
of.
they all have banana on them. All of them are like
bananas,
normal pizzas, but with banana.
coconuts, pineapple smells. You get. Dustin, we were talking about our favorite pizzas back a couple episodes ago, and I mentioned my pineapple and feta fetish, right? Like,
right.
And so maybe not feta, but yeah, every pizza would have a Donkey Kong theme to it.
Yeah, Hyle, you ever try broccolini and goat cheese?
I have not. No, I have had
good.
goat cheese before, like before I was a vegan. I had goat cheese, not on a pizza, just.
Well, but you don't eat feta anymore either, do you?
No, I don't.
Veganist, yeah.
Yeah,
that's all right.
So.
I'll forgive you. Spinach and feta, that's a good pizza.
We're not just going to start listing pizzas we like, but
like Hawaiian
for the next 2 hours.
I'm sort of believe it or not, I'm sort of a meat lovers guy.
But yeah, like, and I'm not just saying this to push my like veganism onto the game, but like you wouldn't just have pepperoni pizza because Professor Chops would be pretty uncomfortable when he shows up to the pizza buffet.
That's true. Now, Hyle, vegan, you're a vegan in that your veganism. Does that mean that you're basically like a worshiper of the villain from Ghostbusters 2?
Are you thinking of Egon the Ghostbuster?
No, I'm thinking of Vigo the Carpathian.
Oh,
come on, get your head together. Get your head out of your little vegan ass. Come on.
Vegan doesn't rhyme with Vigo, but it rhymes with Egon.
A vegan is a worshiper of Vigo. Like, that's a little joke I just made. Golly dang.
That was a little funny little joke.
Wow. When Jeff gets frustrated with me, the Midwestern in him really comes out.
Hey, Dad.
What is it?
This guy,
Yeah?
Dad, he doesn't know how to podcast. Hey.
Son, you see I'm playing a game right now, right?
Hey, Dad.
What?
I said to him,
I'm
podcast much?
I'm playing this.
Hey, Hyle, what was your next thought?
Do I have a next thought?
You were in the middle of a transition. There was a whole. We were talking about the next thing after pizza.
I was still talking about pizza, and then you made a Ghostbusters 2 reference that threw me off my game.
And I really thought you would yes and that. Normally you would yes and that, and then this time you no-butted it. So what am I supposed to do?
I don't know. Look, Cameron has a great comment. Cameron says, "I will eat pepperoni and make eye contact with Professor Chops the entire time."
That's true.
Just staring, mouth agape.
Oh, what about if you could unlock Professor Chops is on the pepperonis?
Each pepperoni has his little face on it.
Is his little dumb face? Yum yum yum. Yum 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 yum.
You say, this is so good.
Yep. Eat it up. Yum yum.
Now, if you are playing the eating, what do you call it, a strat, Jeff?
Meta. It's yeah. So I would call it munch strat, pizza maxing.
Okay.
Or something like that, yeah.
They only have certain types of pizza during certain days of the week or certain holidays. Yeah. So they might have like around American Thanksgiving, they might have like cranberry and like some sort of
mashed potato pizza.
Yeah.
There's a deviled egg on there.
Just a single one though.
Right, it's like one of Stu's eggs from Donkey Kong Country Returns. Just dropped a big,
good
big
reference.
old egg
you
on
pulled
there.
That nice, yeah.
Yeah, Stu. So you would have to keep coming back to the pizza buffet because most gamers would want to just go to the arcade, go to the mini golf, the pinball, the laser tag, the bowling. But if you want 101% complete Swanky Kong's Pizza Buffet, and there's no completing this game, they're going to keep updating it for the entirety of Nintendo's existence. Because
It's a living game.
It's more than a living game. It's like a second life. It's a second life.
It's not necessarily a living game in that you can play it offline, but it's constantly evolving and you can constantly expand it. So you're always
it's as if it's alive.
Yes, you're going to always want to hit up the pizza buffet to make sure you can
every
get
day of your life.
They've only got this limited time pizza during this day of the year. It's Arbor Day. You know,
they've come out with a temporary bowling pin.
right. These bowling pins are made out of the sacred tree from Donkey Kong Jungle Beat.
There he goes with his good references. He's a good podcast host.
Hyle, you're killing it today.
I'm bad with the Ghostbusters references because I haven't seen Afterlife or the other one, but
you talked to this guy about Donkey Kong. Forget about it.
You're gonna claim that you know Ghostbusters 2 references after you didn't get it, huh?
No, look. If you're gonna say something like vegan as a Ghostbusters reference,
because he's a worshiper of the villain from Ghostbusters.
I get it.
Let's litigate this. Let's litigate it on the air.
But he was a tyrant, and like Gozer had the worshippers. Your references are weak, Jeff.
All
right, God!
Don't blame it on me because you didn't get it.
All right. So all I'm saying is we can make the food interesting. The guy who hates food says you can make the food interesting if Swanky Kong is the one designing your menu.
Right. The reason Hyle hates food is because he looks at it and says, "I think we can do better."
Oh shit! Okay. You win clothing from the price wall, right? And so
right.
The outfits you can get like your Diddy Kong outfit. You can dress up as Lanky Kong or Tiny Kong, and then that gives you access to their colored pizzas in the pizza buffet.
You can only eat the green pizzas if you're wearing the Chunky suit.
You can't physically pick up that pizza unless you have Chunky's vest. That gives you the permission to eat the green apple pizza or whatever. So you see, there's this back and forth element. You got to get good at this one thing to get good at the other thing to get good at that thing.
It feeds into itself.
Yeah, it feeds it like a pizza buffet.
Pizza. And, Hyle, what if the animatronics, after close, come alive and
try to kill you?
It's a scary suspense game.
I think there's something to that.
Yeah. Hey, Dad.
What?
Dad?
Yeah? What is it?
Can I wear my tablet? I want to watch Mr. Beast.
Okay, fine. Take it
Dad,
and leave. What? I gave you...
Dad,
I fulfilled your commands.
What is Mr. Beast?
I don't know what that is or what that means.
What is he?
I don't know what that means.
Dad?
Who's talking to you? Get out, dude.
Can I listen to Kongversation podcast?
Okay.
This has been a File 2 production.
¡Qué rico!